Hello everyone, I'm a little under the weather, so sorry if I sound or talk a little funny. I want to start this off by saying that I believe there's a high chance that Parlo gets something out of being the center of attention and feeling that he's right. Parlo has consistently ignored advice to get off the internet for the betterment of his own mental health, only to consistently start or enter fights trying to prove himself correct. I think there's definitely an internet addiction here, but also probably an attention addiction that he may not even realize that's driving his behavior. There's a very high possibility that he engages in so much arguing and drama to fulfill an ego without even realizing it, especially in this situation. It appears that Parlo's lust for attention and being right, possibly paired with extreme degeneracy, has led to him needlessly revealing a ton of personal info that none of us needed to know. Parlo has exposed himself in an extremely inappropriate and extensive manner, and I can't see any other reason outside of him getting something out of it. What we're seeing here from Parlo makes absolutely no sense from any other standpoint due to what he has revealed. I do have concern about posting this video because I think it'll feed this ego Parlo knows or may not know he's feeding with attention that's only breaking him down. Unfortunately, I did make a video on his arrest that does play a role here, so I do feel the need to do my due diligence and cover this as well. I'm only going to cover the basics because of how bad it gets, but if you want to know more, other vids go into the weirder depths of this case. Last month, we went over how Parlo was arrested after he was catfished by a 12-year-old, then somebody reported him to the UK police. He was held in police custody apparently for around 12 hours before being allowed to return home, and from there, we don't really know much about any investigation or legal stuff. Parlo did, however, seem to allude to the situation somehow costing or draining him of money, as he'd open up a GoFundMe the day the news went viral. It was titled, "Please Help Me," and was apparently made to raise funds for rent, food, and monthly bills, and apparently that's what it was used for, according to him. He also hinted at raising funds for potential legal action, possibly against the person who reported him, maybe the 12-year-old, or someone else involved. That, paired with the fact his channel was basically closed due to having 2 community guideline strikes, made it sound like Parlo needed help, so people donated to him. Well, at pretty much the same time, Parlo apparently bought a brand new gaming laptop, a phone, and paid for a trip to London to have some fun with a Discord person. Although a new laptop and phone could be a work-related investment, this random trip cannot be, as it was for more personal reasons with someone else. A week after opening the "Please Help Me" GoFundMe, Parlo apparently gave over $1,000 to a Discord friend so he could fly to Parlo and have their own one-on-one MeepCity party. Parlo says the money from the GoFundMe was not used for the trip, however, that doesn't really matter since he was acting like he was in need of serious help when he wasn't. He framed the GoFundMe as a means for paying for stuff like food, but in reality, he had enough to pay someone to fly out from New York to London for a little sleepover. The GoFundMe misled people into thinking he actually needed money to afford daily things like food, yet here he was with lots of clearly expendable money to cover it himself. He could have also planned to use the GoFundMe money to recoup the costs of flying the guy out, but I guess we'll never know now that this is out there. Parlo's Discord buddy called Wolfgang, who is allegedly no saint, and Parlo were apparently in some kind of degenerate and graphic online relationship. Parlo would send Wolfgang £967 to pay for a trip so they could meet up with each other and have some fun, which apparently didn't exactly go according to plan. Their personal encounter resulted in them calling each other out, which is when this whole flight payment and graphic stuff was released. They had some sort of disagreement about how they handled their one-on-one MeepCity party, which led to them posting their sides of the story, and Parlo went way too far with it. He posted this doc on Twitter, vaguely asking people to read it because it was important, and keep in mind, he has a fairly young audience. Vaguely labeling this as important and a must-read with no details is obviously a bit mysterious and will entice people to view it, so they did. In it was an extreme amount of degenerate conversations, stories, and even a couple odd pics revolving around him and Wolfgang's meetup. He went into extremely graphic details about what happened and with what, and for seemingly no reason in some cases, as if he just wanted to share stuff. There was no need to be so detailed and give as much evidence as he did, nor was there a need to reference one of the weirdest parts in his Twitter banner. It's not even like all of it was evidence of anything either. It felt a lot like pretty much just him randomly sharing explicit conversations. I have no clue why he shared so much, but it felt like a very insensitive and degenerate thing to do, especially with Parlo's audience containing a lot of kids. When it comes to this doc and what was in it, to me it feels like Parlo's noted degeneracy played a part in him sharing all the graphic stuff without seeing a problem. That sensitivity paired with an addiction of feeling right in front of tons of people likely led to him not seeing a problem needlessly posting graphic stuff to an audience full of kids. There's a chance he got something out of sharing it too, though. Like, maybe he enjoys the humiliation, as that's a thing for some degens. So, Parlo here has wronged his viewers in two ways. First, by misleading them into thinking he was desperate for money, and secondly, by posting that doc for them to see. Asking for money to cover stuff like food, despite having enough to needlessly fly a guy out, is ridiculous, and is being considered as scamming by some. He evidently didn't actually need the money because he had it. It's just that he chose to spend it on a fickle thing that ended up causing a ton of problems. Parlo then posting that doc on Twitter and asking people to read it, despite his audience being full of kids and the content he put in it, often without good reason, is really bad too. He posed this as something extremely important and necessary to read, then blasted readers with graphic, degenerate conversations and details that didn't need to be shown. He could have made all his points without going into every little detail and sharing every little message that he did, which is why I wonder if he got something out of sharing it. There was literally no reason to go as far as he did, yep, he did it anyway, and there was also no reason to reference it on his Twitter banner as if he's enjoying all this. All of this is so wildly inappropriate even by his standards, because he's not just being internet toxic like he often is, he's actually wronged his fan base in multiple ways. In all honesty, I've tried helping out Parlo in the past, as some of you know, but I really don't think I can continue after he has ignored me so many times, and now this. He just shared a document going into extremely graphic, obscure, and degenerate details to his fanbase, which is flooded with those young, drama-loving kids. These are two situations that he's completely in the wrong for and should have known were wrong prior to going through with them, but he did so anyway. Some are viewing this as the end of Parlo's YouTube career, and now that he has severely wronged fans, I wouldn't be surprised if it was.